Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Days, and we have got a massive video for you right now. The Rock has taken to social media and he has broken down the whole story between him and Cody. I mean, he has even revealed what he whispered to Cody, and honestly, I've got a lot to say, right? Let's walk through this. We can play the clip and we will stop it and talk about it as we're kind of working our way through. So a big thank you to Harry for tagging me in this. You can see he only tagged me in it 8 minutes ago. I've already watched the 6-minute video, so we're up to speed. But let's walk through it, shall we? This is The Rock on Instagram. It's a long video. We've got the 6 minutes here, and I think this is like all the key stuff. So let's press play and see what The Rock is saying.
The Rock called Cody Rhodes, had a conversation. But it was a conversation that a few have had with Cody Rhodes before. Because Cody knew the biggest match of all time was looming. The Rock talked to Cody and said, "Cody, you know, you love this business. The Rock loves this business. You were born into this business. The Rock was born into this business. Roman Reigns was born into this business. The three of us born into this business. You know, Cody, you got the biggest WrestleMania main event of all time. Right here, you have an opportunity to bring this business up to places it's never been before. You can always, with all due respect, finish your story another time." You agreed.
Now, I think that's really interesting because we've always wanted to know what was said between them that made Cody step to the side. We've been waiting for this explanation, and there it is. He said, you can step to the side, you can finish your story another time. You've got an opportunity to allow us to put on the biggest WrestleMania main event of all time. I need you to step to the side in order to do it, but you know, there's an opportunity here. And so basically Cody agreed and said, like, you know, that it would, in fact, he goes on to say that it would sting. It stings, but he wants what's best for the business. To be honest, that's probably the only explanation they could have given, right? It would have been interesting if there had been some bribery, if basically The Rock had said, look, if you don't agree to do this, I'm going to reveal this about you, right? That could have took us down some very interesting roads, right? No pun intended. But they've not done that. They've kept it simple. They've kept it very, very simple. So the conversation was, listen, we've got an opportunity to do something big. It does require you stepping to the side. I know it's going to hurt, but you can finish your story a little further down the road. And Cody agreed, right? So pretty simple, straightforward stuff, right? So far, pretty simple, straightforward stuff. I think the fact that Cody agreed doesn't really paint Cody in the best of lights. It would have been brilliant if The Rock had kind of said that Cody was sort of unsure, you know, he was on the fence, he wasn't too sure about it, but we moved forward regardless, you know. The fact that he says that Cody agreed means that Cody did go back on his words. So yeah, it's honestly, of all the explanations, this is probably the most simple they could have gone with. And it's one that doesn't really paint Cody in the best of lights either, because he did agree to step to the side and then obviously changed his mind further down the road. Let's see what else The Rock's got to say.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Rock, it stings.
It stings.
But I agree.
But I agree.
It stings. But I'm a team player.
But I'm a team player.
It stings. But I want what's best for the business. Good man. Good man. And then what happened? In Birmingham, Alabama, a city we selected because of its rich history, and we knew we were going to make history. It was your job, Cody, to introduce The Rock, thus setting up the biggest main event of all time. And what'd you do? You did exactly what we agreed on. Brother, you introduced The Rock, and that place went crazy. And The Rock came out. And he dapped you up, he pulled you in and gave you a big hug, and I whispered something in your ear.
We're gonna find out. This is another massive moment, right? So we've just found out what was said on the phone. Now we're gonna find out what he whispered in his ear. Now, again, before we reveal what gets said, there are many options on the table right now as to what could be said. Many options. And if we really want to paint The Rock as a heel, I think we've kind of missed a bit of an opportunity with the first explanation. I think we could have gone with something a little bit more devious. I think we could have gone with something a little darker, right? But now we've got an opportunity here to go with something a bit devious, something a bit darker. Does he pull him in and say, this isn't where you belong, right? You know that's true. Did he say something along those lines? Let's see what they said. Let's see what he whispered to Cody.
Let's put on the biggest Wrestlemania of all time. Let's do it for the American dream. Let's do it for the Soul Man. And I gave you a hug, you hugged The Rock back. And
that moment right there does not feel devious enough to me. That does not feel heelish enough to me. Let's put on the biggest WrestleMania of all time. Let's do it for the Soul Man. Let's do it for the American dream. Like, again, I feel like there were so many options on the table. You've got to remember, though, this is only The Rock's perspective. So it may turn out that this is not what was said. It may turn out that this is not quite accurate, but this is just how The Rock is perceiving it, or this is Rock's spin on it, But I've got to tell you, a lot of the stuff here, we've still got another 4 minutes, but a lot of the stuff here is very, it makes sense. You kind of can see The Rock's perspective. It feels very similar to Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre's got a similar thing going on where he's a heel, but you can sort of see his perspective, and that's what we're doing here with The Rock. He's a heel, but you can see his perspective as he walks you through the story. I mean, granted, it's not brilliant to say, step to the side, we've got an option to do a bigger match than you being in it, right? I do appreciate that's not a great message, but really, there's nothing really beyond that that's like heelish here, It's just very interesting. This is why I've raced to do this video and share my thoughts. So let's continue seeing what The Rock says.
What'd you do, Cody?
What did you do
then? You walked out of that ring on live TV.
On live TV.
And you turned back and you looked at The Rock. And instead of looking at The Rock saying, yeah, go get him. Let's make history. Instead of that, what'd you do? You gave The Rock a look. And it's the same look you gave the world. Like The Rock went out and ran over your goofy-ass dog. That's the look you gave. Like The Rock ran over your goofy-ass dog.
It is true. I'm surprised he's not put a clip in of that look.
Then sometime, from that moment on...
And that did...
To Las Vegas, you changed your mind.
The We Want Cody movement,
You know what? That's no problem.
It's no problem.
You can change your mind.
You can change
you
your
have
mind.
that right.
You've
and
got
The Rock
the right.
accepts that. Everybody has a right to change their mind. The Rock accepts it. You changed your mind. But here's what The Rock doesn't accept. Is how you did it.
How you did it?
I'll say it again, because it's important. To all the Cody crybabies and all the goofs out there and the idiots who still complain. Cody, you had a right to change your mind. You won the Royal Rumble.
Can we just stop there? Because he has never really acknowledged before that Cody won the Rumble. So that feels like quite a big moment, the fact he's acknowledging that Cody won the Rumble. He says you've got a right to change your mind. Again, this isn't very heelish, is it? It's not very heelish. You changed your mind. You've got a right to change your mind. You won the Rumble. Like, again, I get this is his perspective. Of all the options on the table, this feels like a very strange one to go with, where we're painting The Rock out to be a bit of a babyface, even though we know that he is leaning into being a heel. I mean, he laid into the crowds the other day when he did a promo. So, this is I find this to be quite a babyface promo. I find it, but this is what makes me think maybe what we're hearing here isn't quite the truth.
The Rock doesn't accept. It's how you did it. Saw you in Las Vegas.
Saw you in Vegas.
Saw you in Las Vegas.
Saw you,
you backstage.
Saw you
20
backstage.
feet away. Rock dapped you up, gave you a hug.
Gave you a hug.
Did you say anything to The Rock then?
Did you say anything?
I got something on my mind. Yeah, tell me about it. Hey, Rock, I got something that's eating me up inside. Cody, go ahead. Tell me about it. Let's walk over there. Let's talk in private. Come and tell me about it. Did you say any of that? No, you didn't say a thing. But what'd you do? You waited until Roman Reigns walked out there and announced he's facing The Rock. Then The Rock went out there, showed the entire family tree, proof of the most dominant family in professional wrestling, in entertainment, and in sports in the world. And accepted Roman Reigns, accepted the challenge, blood oath.
Do you know what? Again, he's gone, you could have, I spoke to you backstage. You could have spoke to me. Like, did you say a word? Again, like, and it is true. Like, you do look at that and go, well, why didn't Cody speak to him backstage? Again, I think we sort of presumed that The Rock turned up last minute, went onto the stage. Cody didn't get the option to speak to him. So now we're seeing footage of them actually talking backstage. And he's making a very good point. Why didn't Cody speak to him before the plan continued, you know? I don't know how they're going to swerve this. I don't know how Cody's going to respond to this. I would not expect this. I did not expect this. This is why this is an emergency video that we need to talk about. Because The Rock is making some points here that really are painting him out to be the babyface. And I really don't think we're turning Cody heel. That wouldn't make any sense. Let's carry on.
And we were going to put on the biggest WrestleMania of all time. What'd you do? Then you came out and you interrupted.
Hold on.
So that's where he interrupts. And he says, you know, this is BS.
It was bullshit.
Well, that word.
It was bullshit.
Thank you.
You could think it's bullshit, brother. Not a problem. But you know where you really screwed up? It's when you talk shit about my family. All the Cody crybabies. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Shut your mouths. You talk shit about my family. What'd you call them, Cody?
It's not a family. They are nothing but lackeys, but yes men. They're goons.
And you spoke about Roman's grandfather, and you spoke about my grandfather, the great High Chief Peter Maivia.
If your grandfather
They would be
was
ashamed.
here, if the High Chief, his grandfather, was here, they'd be ashamed of you.
I did to you, Cody Rhodes, in that moment what I would do to you 1,000,000 times, which is slap the taste right out of your mouth.
We've only got a few seconds left.
And then what happened? What happened? The Rock embarrassed you in front of the world, boy. Slapped the shit out of you. You had it coming. Talk shit about my family again. Said it to you then, I'll say it again. I'll say it forever. Talk shit about my...
There we go, and it cuts it off. So, I mean, he walks us through what they said before the Cody changed his mind. He talks about what he whispered into his ear. He talks about seeing him backstage and Cody not saying a word. He talks about the fact that, like, he had a right to change his mind. He was the winner of the Rumble, right? And the fact that that's his prerogative, but why didn't you speak to me about it before you got on the stage? He then shows clips of Cody talking trash about his family, right? Which you can imagine The Rock would be in a mindset of being upset anyway, because he's just been embarrassed in front of the world on a very public stage when Cody could have spoke to him backstage, right? I think The Rock makes some amazing points here. I think The Rock makes some amazing points, and I'm looking at this going, how is Cody going to respond to this? The only way I can think he can respond is if it turns out that's not the full story, if it turns out that there's more to this that The Rock has not told us, or if what The Rock has told us isn't quite the truth. Because Cody insinuated the other day that The Rock wouldn't want us to find out what was said between them. It wouldn't be a good look for The Rock. And actually, we've just found out that basically The Rock said that they were born into this business. There's an opportunity to bring the business up. You can finish your story further down the road. Cody said it stings, but I want what's best for the business. And I don't think that paints The Rock in that bad of a light, to be honest. I don't think that paints him in that bad of a light. So, is that the truth? Or is there another truth? Is there an other truth out there that Cody can present? This, I think, is a massive part, a massive piece of what has been missing. But it doesn't take us in the direction I expected. It does not take us in the direction I expected. I expected these missing pieces to make The Rock seem like more of a heel. And actually, it seems to be doing the opposite, where now I've got big questions about why Cody agreed to step to the side and why Cody didn't speak to The Rock backstage. You know? Like, I just wasn't prepared for this. So I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think about this video from The Rock? Where do you think that they're going? How do you think this paints The Rock? And how do you think this paints Cody? I genuinely would love to know your thoughts because I wasn't expecting this. An emergency video dropping on the channel today. Obviously ahead of what promises to be a very, very unmissable and potentially explosive episode of SmackDown tonight. The Rock's on the show. Roman's on the show. Cody is scheduled to be there. We don't know what he's going to do, but there's every chance he comes out and confronts The Rock. And maybe that conversation tonight is going to be based on this.